but there's no place where I ever feel, and I mean this, the imbalance, economic imbalance in Major League Baseball more than when I come here. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning from Philadelphia. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins. I hope you'll check those out as well. Pirates and Phillies begin a 3-game set here tonight at Citizens Bank Park. And as ever, when these teams meet, the games only matter for one side. That's just the way it is. And you can say what you want about how badly the Pirates are run, which they are. You can say whatever you want about how well the Phillies might or might not be run. I really don't follow them that closely. But what you can't get past is the disparity at the very foundation of any discussion about this. You're always going to have people who point to outliers or teams that don't spend much but do some winning. They'll point to the number of different World Series winners over the past 15, 20, 30 years. What's indisputable is that the foundation is flawed. Everybody begins from a different spot. And that's rooted, when it comes to these two franchises, in local revenues. The Pirates generate around $80 million. The Phillies generate around $310 million. So when you look at the rosters and even the lineups when they're presented tonight, go look at the payrolls. That's a big, 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 big part of it. It is not the only part of it. In fact, I spend probably about 90% of my time talking on this show about the other part of it. But I also don't ignore this one. And the shame of it is, as it relates to these two teams, the only two in Pennsylvania, is that I otherwise see a lot of similarities. I really do. Citizens Bank Park, one of the nicest, probably the most underappreciated stadium in the majors, and one that I strongly suspect everybody would talk about if it was anywhere near Center City, Philadelphia, as opposed to being way out here in this sea of asphalt to the south of the city. It was built right around the same time that PNC Park was. It was funded by the same source that PNC Park was, of course, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And it cost pretty much the same. And at the time, part of the objective was, even though everybody knew there wasn't a salary cap, that there was going to be some evening out of finances, because now both teams had their new stadium, and Three Rivers had been brought down, and the old vet here had been brought down. And of course, what ended up happening for real was, there was no cap, and teams that could spend did spend. But when I'm in this place, and if you've been here, you're probably going to know what I'm talking about, especially with the blue seats and all that. There's a PNC Park feel to it, including even the size. It's bigger. It holds more people, about 5,000 more, but it has that same kind of vibe to it, except for one thing. Their baseball team, can play baseball. Specifically, they can hit, and they've been able to hit ever since they moved into this one. Going back to the Ryan Howard, Jimmy Rollins days. Now it's Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber. But you walk in here and you feel that Philly macho toughness, or if you have less kind words for it than that, you kind of feel that with their team. They've got a little bit of a badassedness to them, And meanwhile, the Pirates are watching strike 3 go by with the bases loaded. It doesn't have to be like that. When I think of Pittsburgh versus Philadelphia now, and I'm going to guess you're not an exception to this, I think of Penguins versus Flyers. And yeah, I know they've both fallen on some hard times as well, but at least the fights, including the literal ones, were always fair. Even when it comes to Steelers versus Eagles, obviously an imbalance there as well, meaning on the football fields, you have the Steelers openly emulating and in some cases taking employees from the Eagles because that's now their model franchise. And in baseball, you just don't even think about it. It just doesn't even really exist. And if you're one of those people that goes way back with a team and you remember when the Pirates and the Phillies were in the same division, the old National League East. And you remember, especially in the 1970s, when both teams were very, very good. And by the way, both teams could really hit. That was epic stuff, man. It really was. I mean, I was a child, but there was no team I wanted to beat quite like the Phillies. And now it's this. Now it's the Pirates come here. They're a team that every single person who pulls out a ticket for the game tonight is going to expect the Phillies should just roll over, and maybe they will. But there's nothing related to Philadelphia versus Pittsburgh. There's nothing related to anything. Why? At its core, it's because the sport is unfair. The sport needs to be fixed. And wouldn't it be nuts if the fans in a city like this would enjoy that a little more than what they're actually going to get for entertainment value over the next 3 days? You know, kind of how it is in the NFL and the NHL. When we come back, J1Q. If you're looking for a great dining experience, look no further than North Shore Tavern. Located directly across Federal Street from PNC Park, next door to Mike's Beer Bar, North Shore Tavern is Pittsburgh's home for steak on a stone. Enjoy your steak finished on a hot lava stone in front of you, where you ensure each piece is cooked to exactly your liking. Or try their rotating selection of entrees, hot sandwiches, salads, and burgers, all while enjoying the ambiance dedicated to the great players and history of the Pittsburgh Pirates all around you. Come see why everyone's talking about North Shore Tavern and steak on a stone.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org. That's gunstoragecheck.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q, I'm actually going to take real quick hit samplings of 3 different things that came up related to yesterday's show about the salary cap. Alan says, DK, someday there will be enough owners amenable to a salary cap, as eventually happened in the NFL and in the NHL. But a salary cap / floor won't guarantee any team, least of all the Pirates, any degree of success. Just the opportunity to compete on more of a level field. Yeah, this comes up so often, and I don't understand it because it's so obvious. I mean, if the salary cap guaranteed every team's success, then we would have 32 Super Bowl champions, and we would have 32 Stanley Cup champions. As it is, there's only one each year. So, I mean, I don't, this keeps getting thrown out as if it's some sort of really hot and heavy counter to the cap concept, and it isn't. And by the way, you never have to say cap / floor, because every salary cap system comes with a floor and expanded revenue sharing. Also heard from Paul, who says, everything you mention about the virtues of salary cap / floor, there it is again, and how they raise the tide for all franchises was true during the last bargaining phase, where 0 owners stood in the way of the status quo. What has changed since then? A couple of things have changed, Paul, of significance. One is that there's no COVID. Remember that the owners and players at that time would have looked like the most selfish SOBs in the history of civilization, while society was being shut down all around them, that they were just going to be babies about everything and focus on themselves. But other things have happened. Scott Boras no longer controls the entire executive council of the Major League Baseball Players Association as he did then. Some players and some agents got edgy about that and made the changes. But way more than either of those two things, the owners have become a lot more aware of what it's like when one team or two teams just start hoarding up all the players. Hal Steinbrenner in New York, the owner of the Yankees of all teams, is making noise about it. That dynamic wasn't even close to being in place at that time. And the last one I'll take comes from Peter, who says, although I've always agreed with you that baseball needs a cap, and then he puts in parentheses, with a minimum, it comes with that. It's in the package. And revenue sharing. You are myopic to think that the Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Red Sox would make more money under the cap system than the current system. With their local TV contracts as is, there's no way they can make as much with a cap system as they will have to share that money that'll be required for the revenue sharing to work. Peter, when I said that the owners of those teams are about to become that much richer with a salary cap, I was not referring to the teams. I was referring to the owners. Those teams are about to become, in a cap system, far more profitable than they are now. And who gets the profit? The owners do. Majority owner, minority owners. The cap system will raise overall revenues. But you're correct that by individual team, you're not going to be seeing that impact. What happens is the ceiling, in this case, limits the amount that owner can spend. As such, the owner gets more profit. I appreciate all of the questions. Much as this subject annoys me, I appreciate everyone listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. Again, I'll be out here in Philadelphia covering the entire series. You can check out what I have to write about that at DK Pittsburgh Sports. The website and the app are all free. If you like what you see and you don't like ads, you can also become a subscriber and support what it is that we do. And we'll be back with another one of these programs on Monday morning.